think ahead to your adult life. Do you still get to do that on a daily or a weekly basis? For me as a child, that one thing was designing fashion. I loved to shop, and then I would go home, sketch out different outfit and ideas on a notepad. As a teen, I dreamed of going to school for fashion or owning my own store. But I thought it was too out of reach. I thought you needed money to be able to open a store. And I also thought if I wanted to go into fashion design or be a buyer, I would have to move to a big city, which that was something that I didn't want to do at the time. So I went with what I thought was safe, and I went into the dental. I went in for a dental assisting degree. And then later in life, I went back to school again for a massage therapy degree after having my first 3 children. As I was doing my dental degree and massage therapy, I still had my hobby of shopping and exploring fashion. I would sit and look at magazines. I would explore the internet. It was still that thing that I would do in my spare time. So one night I went to a birthday party with my husband, and I sat with one of his friend's wives who had started a business called LuLaRoe. LuLaRoe was an MLM company, and she was telling me how it was just exploding. That was back in 2016, and she was having great success with it. I wasn't really too keen on the idea because it was an MLM company, and I didn't think it sounded like it was for me. But after thinking about it more and knowing that the investment was lower than it probably would be to open my own store, I thought it might be a way that I could keep my current job and still do something with fashion on the side. So I thought it would be, a more affordable option. So I went to the bank and got a very small startup loan, got my kit coming, and started a Facebook group. It quickly grew into a few thousand followers pretty much overnight. I was the only LuLaRoe consultant in the area, which I felt really helped me at the time. And then other people started to hear one of the main things with LuLaRoe is they have really buttery soft leggings. So a lot of people had heard about these and wanted me to collaborate with them. So some local boutiques had asked me to come to their events and sell my leggings. So that was one way that I started making connections with local businesses. I started working more on my photography skills. I started having pickups at my home for locals, and I started doing live sales out of my basement. In the fall of 2017, am I okay?
You're good.
Okay. In the fall of 2017, I started to think that maybe LuLaRoe wasn't for me just because it was an MLM company, and I just didn't really like the fact that I maybe couldn't get as far as I wanted to with that company. And it was always my dream to have my own boutique. And after building my following and seeing that maybe it could work on my own, I started thinking about my own boutique. So I kept my same Facebook group. I changed the name, started Pippi Lane Boutique. I got more of a boutique look, as you can see on the slides, of my basement. So I started an actual little boutique that I would open up once a month to the public. I would do sales still every week and have people picking up at my home. And I knew LuLaRoe wasn't really my style of clothing. And I'm like, why am I doing this when it's not who I am? I wanted to be true to myself. So I loved that when I started Pippi Lane, I could pick out all the clothes that really were my style and things that I wanted for my customers. So I very quickly grew out of my space in that basement and was starting to look for a storefront in downtown Waseca. I found a few spots, a couple of them I really wanted, but other people had gotten to them before I had. And I ended up finding a little spot that one of my friends had owned and got it for a great deal. So that was on 4th Street Southwest, right across from where I am now. So in January 2018 is when I found the location. I opened in March of 18, and I hired a couple employees. It quickly grew from once a month, we would have events, to we ended up opening for normal business hours. We started out Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. My biggest focus was having sizes extra small to 3X, because when I was back selling LuLaRoe, I really saw the need in the community to have extended sizes. There just wasn't, we didn't really have a boutique in Waseca at that time that was solely clothes. Some of them dabbled in it, but they didn't have the range of sizes that I was looking for. So I started that in March of 18, and it was a huge success. And at that time, I was pretty much the only fully clothing boutique in Waseca. So I quickly grew out of that space because we were doing so many online orders and we didn't have a back warehouse. So I would be coming in on nights and weekends to go through boxes, get it out on the floor so the place didn't look like a mess when people would come in to shop. So we knew we needed something bigger, but I didn't know if it was something that we could afford or not. And I would look out the window at the old Napa building every day and think that would be a dream to have that with a huge warehouse in the back. But I just didn't know if it was still out of reach. So I started talking with a realtor that had that building and the owners of the building, and came to an agreement with them. And we quickly ended up renovating in January of 19. And then opened up in March of 19. So now we have, I think it's like 5,200 square feet total, 1,800 in the front for the retail space. And then the rest is for the warehouse and back rooms. Then I had a lot of people asking me to expand to other communities. So in June of 2019, I opened a little shop in Mankato in Old Town. That was going fairly well. It was a new challenge for me because I had a whole nother set of employees and I didn't know a lot of people in the Mankato area. So it was harder for me to find quality employees over there, just because I didn't know who people were. That was running very good through the holiday season. It slowed down a little bit in January of 2020, which is expected. But in March of 2020 is when COVID hit. And everything changed. So our businesses were forced to shut down from 7 to 9 weeks. So I didn't have that storefront option. I was forced to go completely online with local pickups once a week. And that actually built my business because I was online every day talking to people, getting new arrivals in daily while they were sitting at home and they needed something to do after teaching their kids all day. So that really grew my online business. And so in June of 2020, I decided to close the Mankato location and focus just on my online business and serving Waseca community. Fall of 2020, I actually started my own clothing company called Melby Joe Clothing. I have been working on that for 2 years prior. It's kind of difficult to get into it. You have to source out who's going to make it. You want it to be a quality product, and you have to source out the fabrics. So it takes some time. I also had to figure out my logo and the tags and all of that. And this is the first piece that I made. I went with something a little bit safer just because I know my clientele. We live in the Midwest, and I knew I wanted something in sizes small to 3X to fit everyone. So this is my first sample that I got. So when we got this, I tried it on, decided how I wanted it to fit, and did all the little details down to the thumb holes and the rounded sleeves, and picking all of the fabrics. This one actually flew off the shelves. It was our #1 seller. And then people knew how it would fit, and they would come back as I had new patterns and buy their same size because they knew exactly how it was going to fit them. January of 2021, I started planning for a sweet shop. I knew I had extra space in my building, and after having monthly events with food and food truck vendors and things coming in and seeing that Waseca just wanted some of those extra fun things, I decided that because I had this extra little space, it would be fun to have my own food there. So we started planning for a sweet shop, which was one of the hardest things, just because with a food license, there's so many things you have to follow. But it ended up working out great. We have a walk-up window outside. We have a little seating area inside and a walk-up window inside for when the boutique is open. We have extended hours that we're open until 8, which we might extend till 9 o'clock next year, so that people can come after sporting events in the summertime. We offer edible cookie dough, 8 different flavors of ice cream, Nordic waffles, lunches, specialty drinks. And we open that in June. We do plan to do that seasonally. So we will close at the end of September and do pop-up events throughout the winter. Some of the things that I've realized in my last 5 years, I work and think about it 24/7. It truly is my passion. I never complain about doing this job. It's rewarding to see the styles I've created on actual people. And then I'm always thinking about what I can do next. I lay awake at night thinking about what the next thing I can do. And then some of the things you can do as a community to help me out. Biggest thing for me, because Facebook is really my #1 thing, is share on Facebook. The algorithms can really mess up a business, and you can be doing really great, and then one day Facebook changes something and it all changes again. So in order to get people to see what I'm doing, we really need the help of people sharing our events, sharing maybe a weekly post, engaging with the post, liking and commenting, and then referring your friends and family. And then just the main thing is that I hope, like, my story inspires people that, you know, anything is possible. Don't take no for an answer. That's kind of what I did. There's always a way to figure things out. So.
Kristen, how is your app enhanced your business, or is it, do you feel like your app is working? I look at it like monthly.
Yeah, I felt like it was going to increase it a lot more than it did for what I pay for it, because it is kind of costly and we have to update it so often. I like that we have the option because I can go live in the app, but sometimes I don't feel like I get as much. It's hard to know, you know, are people using the app or are they just going straight to Facebook? I can see the analytics on the app. And I think we have like 1,500 people that are on there. I would have expected it to be more by now, just because of how many people we have that follow us. But I know it takes time, and even advertising, you have to do a lot of advertising even just to get people to download that app.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan has a question.
Ryan?
Yes, I have a couple of comments and questions from Facebook that I wanted to share for you. These are all coming in from Yvonne, so thank you, Yvonne, for joining us via Facebook Live. She said, first, super cute look to the store and brand. I have to quick say I agree with that. You couldn't convince me in a million years that that was once an auto parts store when I see the pictures of the interior. She said, you're so smart about pivoting to serve needs and try things, that it's inspiring. She loves the synergy between your brands, having similar fonts and a clean, whimsical design. And then she had 2 questions for you. First, are you having any challenges with staffing? And second, do you use any time management software or a planner, or what do you use to keep track of your multiple business needs?
So staffing, I've been very fortunate. I have not had issues with staffing. I think because a lot of the staff I have several on board, and a lot of them only work like one or 2 days a week. Some of them only work once a month. That has helped me, so I can kind of fill in if we are in need, someone else will fill in and cover a shift. I've also, even with the sweet shop, I get emails weekly of people wondering if we're hiring. So I've been very fortunate that way. And then as far as planning, I typically am a planner and run by a calendar. In the summer, I kind of get off base just because with my kids and everything, it's harder to keep a normal schedule, but I'm trying to get back into that now. I am still one that really likes a pen and paper. So even today I wrote everything down. If I get a planner, I write things down and add to it. I don't rely on my phone for that, even though I rely on my phone for everything else. But I do like my paper when it comes to that. And it's pretty much just in my head, and I'm the one that plans it out, and then I delegate to my employees as far as this is the plan for the week.
I have maybe two questions. You mentioned online sales, kind of really grew, and obviously the pandemic probably a lot of people talk about. Have you seen that continue? The online sales, is it still outpacing the in-person as we got to transition back this year, or did you see more in the store?
It definitely, so once people could shop in store again, it kind of leveled out. Still was doing a lot because there were still those people that didn't want to still shop in store. And now I would say it's gone the other way. And that's why I say it's so important for people to keep sharing our Facebook, our website, everything. And I don't expect people to do that on a daily basis, but just as much as you can, you see something you like, or you see that we're doing an event, share it, because Facebook only allows a certain percentage of things to be seen from me. So if someone else is sharing it, it helps us a lot, because we have seen now that people can shop in store and they're like, oh, I can stop in there on Friday. They're like, I'm not going to buy it today because I want to go try it on. So, and I think because of a lot of my customer base is very local, that makes a big difference. Now, if I go and I pay for an ad and I target Louisiana, I will see a couple orders come in. But it might cost me a lot to do that too. So.
Well, then my other question, again, not to bring the room down, but we talk a lot about succession planning in terms of sort of as economic development. And many think about that as like when somebody wants to retire. But succession also means what happens if there's, you get injured or something, or are not able to function in your business. Do you have somebody that you're able to like have step in right away, since it does sound like you have a lot on your plate to do?
Yeah, well, I mean, I will say that I did have COVID, and my staff really stepped in. I mean, luckily I can do a lot remotely. Granted, I know there might be a time where I couldn't do that remotely. And my husband and I have talked about that, because just it's like, what happens, he needs to know certain things too, which he does know a lot. But then also my 16-year-old daughter works for me, and she could run the place if she needed to. And a couple of my employees are the same way, where I know for sure they would step in. Even when I was sick, they said, don't worry about it. We've got it covered. They know how to fulfill. They know how to do the posts. I mean, I feel like right now I'd be good. But yes, that is something that we have talked quite a bit about, just in case something would happen. I would hope that someone would carry it on.
You're open Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
That's what we first started with when I moved to the bigger location. Now we're open Wednesday through Saturday.
And I presume you're going to continue that, or do you think that's a limitation? First question. Second one is, considering that 5 years down the road, where do you want to be?
So the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday model has been very good for us. I think because it is limited, people know they can only come in those days. I have thought about being open every day. If I had staff to do it, it's like, why not? But on the other hand, I feel like it gives people too many options sometimes, because then they're like, well, I can go in any day. I don't have to go in today. So I kind of feel like, and a lot of the boutique world has gone that way. And for a while, I was the only one in Waseca open on Wednesdays. So sometimes we would see it slower on Wednesdays because no one else was there. Someone's gonna make a trip to Waseca to shop all the boutiques. They want all of us to be open. So that would be my fear of opening, 7 days a week. And then what was the other question? Oh, 5 years down the
5
road?
years down the road, where do you want to be?
I guess I'm still, my goal this last year was to try to hit every state in the US as far as online orders. And that's still in the back of my head. We've hit a lot of them. But because of the decrease in online sales, I feel like that's something that we need to kind of ramp up again and try to target certain states, get our name. I want it to be one of those names that you recognize, even from another state, not just locally or Minnesota. That's my biggest goal.
So you see your future more online?
Maybe just more of a recognizable brand. I still love the storefront. That was my dream. And I love serving the Waseca community. That was the point of opening it, was to serve Waseca and give them something that they never had before. They've maybe had it here and there, but maybe to not this extent. So I wanted to give the Waseca community options as far as in-store, online. But I also want to build my brand to where it's recognizable all over.
Kristen, you have a store in Mankato. Do you anticipate opening other locations in the future, kind of take off on the Pavlos?
Well, what we're trying to do right now, instead of opening a whole nother storefront where I have so much overhead, I am looking for people in communities that maybe we don't have a ton of clientele from, like for instance, salons, other retail spaces that would allow me to come in and have kind of like a mini boutique in their location. I've seen some salons in other communities that have just one corner where they have a rack and a sign and a couple things, and then they sell for that boutique. And it's just another way to get my brand out there and have some cards. They can find us online if they like what we offer, and just trying to reach other communities. And I do have some leads on other communities that are interested in that right now.
Ryan has a question.
Ryan?
Kristen, you're absolutely right on the Facebook algorithms. One thing I wanted to share for you, if you're not aware, and the people in the audience, if they want to support you, but by default, when you like or follow a page on Facebook, it will only show you the posts that it suggests to you. There's an options button. There's 3 dots on any Facebook page, and you can click on that and say, you can choose follow settings, and you can change where those posts appear on your Facebook feed. So if you want to make sure that you're liking every post that Kristen puts out there so that it gets to a wider audience, you can make sure that you see those all at the top of your page, and you can hit like. You can also update the notifications. So you can change your posts to say, notify me every time. Now, it won't notify you more than 5 times a day. So if you're, I don't know if you've ever made more than 5 posts in a day, but then it wouldn't. But that'll get past the only getting a couple of highlights. So that's something that people can do, your favorite customers can do if they want to see more of your posts. Now, Yvonne also had a couple more comments on Facebook, so I'll quick read those out. First, she said, as you grow and need to delegate more, there's some tools. She mentioned Monday.com and Asana. Those are both super helpful to help with delegation. She really agreed with the having a shortened week. She said exclusivity and scarcity increases value. And then she said so many entrepreneurs don't get that and try to be there every day, every minute, and end up overspending on staffing.
Kristen, what products have you carried that you found they don't work, the market doesn't call for it?
Well, that's kind of hard to say because we've dabbled in home decor. And as much as I love home decor, that was my thing back in the day too. I quickly realized that wasn't my thing for business. I love the clothing way more. There's a lot more work actually that's involved with home decor and getting all of that set up. And we have kind of gone in and out with that. I will bring some pieces back now this fall because I have a vendor that her things seem to fly off the shelves. So it's kind of more vendor related, I would say, than specific. So we know that we can only have a little bit of home decor. And we've got several great stores in Waseca for home decor, so I don't want to take that away from anyone. So I like to have it just to show the fall vibe, and if they're in there buying an outfit and they see something for their home or for a gift, they can grab it. But you know, that's not kind of our thing. Same with like the baby and kids. We tried to do all the way through tween, and it's super hit or miss. And so I have tried to go now just to kind of a baby and toddler section, because that's something, again, where if they're looking for a baby gift, when they're in there shopping, and they're like, oh, this person just had a baby, I'm gonna grab a gift for them while I'm here. So it's more like a little bit of areas of, you know, those departments that we've kind of changed a little bit.
Did you see any impact on your clothing line in terms of COVID, of like, again, since you're having to outsource to other things, did you have any issue with that?
No,
Good.
no, I know a lot of people have had issues getting products and things. I have not. I work with quite a few bigger names, and I think that helps. And sometimes if I need something quickly, I know which ones I can get things in quicker to. And I buy ahead quite often too, which does help, because then I already know it's going to be 3 months or 4 months out, and it doesn't really matter timeline wise. But as far as my own clothing brand, we stepped back over the summer and didn't make anything new for Melby Joe over the summer. And now we are in the process now, so we'll have our fall line coming out hopefully next month. So.
All right, so I'll ask the last question again, as what can we, as the 1 Million Cups and the general Waseca community, be doing for you?
So like I said before, basically just helping with, you know, Facebook, Instagram, liking, sharing. That's the biggest thing. Referring your friends. If you see I have an event coming up, please share it, or even, you know, say that you're interested in it. Maybe not, you know, don't click going if you can't go, but click interested so other people see it on your Facebooks, because that's the trickiest part for us. So.